Hello Leo and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Leo. We're going to start with looking at the overall energy of this reading through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But first, I want to look at the overall theme of this reading. Meditate, trust, good fortune, and then time, like divine time here. Okay. So the way that I'm kind of seeing this is there are opportunities around you. Opportunities that will lead you to, this good fortune. Now, this good fortune card can mean anything. Love, abundance, sure, maybe financial freedom, success of some sort. But these opportunities here are going to require you to trust a lot, to trust the universe, to trust a path, to trust divine timing. And this meditate card, I feel like, is allowing yourself the space to, first and foremost, if you're moving too quickly and you're not taking time to really, be in stillness, you might miss certain opportunities. Some of these things might pass you by. And second of all, there's a need to, face certain opportunities from a place of growth and healing and faith that I feel you've never really had to before, meaning that you're being asked to stretch your limits in a certain way, not in a bad way, but it's like something that is really exciting. There's a lot of potential here, but you might miss it. And also, when we make decisions from more of a grounded place, we align more. But when we make decisions from an emotional place where we're just like responding, or I guess a better word is reacting, we might make decisions that, self-sabotage or repeat old patterns or old behaviors. But when we come back to that stillness and we come back to that grounded place, we can approach things from a different perspective. So I don't know what this is about, but let's dive in and see what we've got here. So let's look at what Leo has been dealing with in their recent past. Expect powerful change. A personal issue reaches resolution with balance, spirituality, and practicality. I feel like you've been on a path to something for a while, on a journey to some sort of outcome, love, abundance, whatever, this good fortune, whatever this is. And I feel like you've been waiting for things to change and waiting for things to change and waiting for things to improve. But maybe you've seen small changes or small progression, but it feels like you haven't yet gotten to where it is that you want to be. And it feels like maybe through this process, there's a little bit of losing faith that you ever will. And I think that that's why you have this balance, spirituality, and practicality card, is making sure that you're not jumping to conclusions just because, I think that it's hard though. Divine timing is a very real thing and things align whenever they are supposed to, but that doesn't mean the journey there isn't difficult. It doesn't mean that we're not going to face doubt and insecurity and fear and all the things. But we have a choice, in those moments. We don't have to believe that doubt, that insecurity, and that fear. We can feel it, we can experience it, we can be in the middle of it, but we can choose to keep showing up as if the things that we deserve and desire are on the way. And I feel like that's what this path is all about for you. I do feel like you're headed towards change, with, again, like I said, like new opportunities in some way, like a new path opens up, or or something, but let's see what we've got for your current energy, Leo. It also kind of feels like this maybe has been a long time coming for some of you. Be bold and make the first move. So there's something that's requiring a tremendous amount of courage, a tremendous amount of faith, of trust. The energy is gaining momentum. Is there one more? A time to give rather than take. And then you're very close to achieving your goal. So this feels like taking a massive step forward in some way, making some sort of decision, putting yourself out there in some way. I'm not quite sure. I feel like it depends on what we're talking about or what your situation is, but it feels like it's taking steps towards making a tremendous change in your life that will very, very much pay off in the future. Even if in the beginning it feels like it's not paying off, I feel like this is definitely the energy of like it will pay off in the future. But let's see, what does Leo need to know about this future energy? Ooh. Nothing is set in stone. Adjustments are required and luck is on your side. This is this reminder that we are the co-creators of our life. That there is way more in our power and in our control than we think that there is. And the ways in which we show up, when we show up with belief and what, might feel impossible, might seem impossible, but belief that it is possible, belief that we're supported, belief that we're capable, that we're intelligent enough, that whatever the case might be, we create it when we embody it. And I feel like this is kind of this energy of like, there is nothing certain about our future. The only certainty in life is uncertainty. And we might not have control over how things turn out, but it's about trusting that as long as you're showing up for it, you're eventually going to be led exactly to where you're supposed to be. It's like there's no reason to not take a risk, or there's no reason to not go after your dreams. Because at the end of the day, what you're left with, at the end of your life is, very rarely do people regret the things that they tried and failed at. People often regret the things that they didn't try at all, the steps that they didn't take and the choices they didn't make and the ways that they didn't put themselves out there, didn't tell the truth, or weren't honest about how they felt, or whatever the case is. This is about going after something, being bold and going after something, even if it feels like impossible. And if you do that, and it's a commitment to the process, it's like it happens. But there's no guarantee. There's no certainty, right? So you're never going to feel 100% certain about this. And I think that that's what Spirit is trying to bring forth in this reading, is like there's never going to be a point where you're like, oh, I'm 100% certain that everything's going to work out. But there is a point where you can say, I'm having faith that things are working out. I'm going to show up as if things are working out. And I'm going to trust that wherever this leads me to exactly where I'm supposed to go. There's never going to be certainty. You're never going to wake up with 100% certainty. Yes, this is the right choice, this is the right path. Because there are no right choices. They're just the choices that we make and what we learn from them. And I feel like this is, I don't know if you're ruminating about something or if you're second guessing something or if you're wondering, is this the right path? Is this the right path? I feel like whatever requires you to tap into your faith the most, whatever requires you to believe in yourself the most, like that is the right path. So I don't necessarily know, again, what this is talking about specifically. It's like whatever path carries the most potential, but maybe even the most fear. That's the path. All right, let's see here. Let's look, Leo, at this recent past energy. What has Leo been dealing with in their recent past? What is this all about? about here? But it requires you to do things differently. Sorry, I just had that come to mind. It requires you to do things differently. Okay, hang on. I don't know why that came to mind so aggressively there. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Goodness. Queen of Swords upright. The Empress in reverse. The Seven of Swords. The Six of Pentacles. There's this energy of feeling very unsecure, very uncertain about something. And maybe even being on this like endless search for certainty. But it's almost like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of, the King of Cups here. It's almost as if you're searching for the certainty to create the outcome, but creating the outcome requires you to embrace the uncertainty because you've been, like I said, on a path towards something for a really long time. And there's been a lot of second guessing this path, second guessing where you're headed. Is this right for me? Am I going to fail? And I think that there's a lot that you're not able to see right now, a lot that I feel like is aligning for you in a lot of ways to provide you with, especially with the Seven of Swords and the Six of Pentacles, like providing you with opportunities to receive, opportunities for things to pay off, opportunities that you're unaware of. And a lot of times that's the hard thing, right? We go, well, there's no way I can make this happen. So we don't even try, but trying creates the way because opportunities arise when we put ourselves out there. But it feels like for a long time, there's this energy of accepting a lot less than what it is that you're truly capable of and what it is that is truly possible for you. And doing so not necessarily intentionally, but because you thought maybe, this was the limit or this was as good as it got or, there was no way forward or whatever the case is. And I feel like this reading is about you breaking out of that, about you realizing that you have you have like options, you have other ways to get to where you're trying to go. This Empress in reverse is definitely this energy of like prioritizing everything around you but you, and maybe even prioritizing obligations or responsibilities. And sure, that's important, right? You got to do that. And you do have this balance, spirituality, and practicality card here, though, which is this indication of still allowing yourself to move toward bigger things. It's not, it's not this energy of like, oh, the grass is greener, or like you shouldn't just be grateful for where you're at, because absolutely you should, but you're allowed to want more. You're allowed to have the things that you desire. So I don't necessarily know where this is all leading, but I do definitely know that there's a lot, that is possible for you, but embracing uncertainty is the necessary aspect of this. If you search for certainty before you take a step or before you choose a path or before you go after something, you're only going to find fear. You're going to find, because searching for certainty is inherently an energy of fear, because it's saying, I fear I'm going to fail. I fear this isn't going to work. I fear that it's not possible. And when we search for ways to alleviate that fear, we actually tend to prove our fear right. We look for all of the ways that it isn't. We see all the ways that it isn't possible, all the ways that we can't get there, that we're not enough, that we're not good enough, whatever the case is. And I feel like this is about taking a step out of that energy and allowing yourself to, believe in something before it exists. I actually just made a video about this. It was talking about how like fear and faith both require us to believe in something that we can't see, right? And I think it's easy to believe in fear because it's like, if I believe in my fear, I have control because I choose survival. I choose jobs that don't serve me or people that, don't really align with my worth, but I do it because at least I have something. At least I have, a relationship. At least I have money to pay the bills with. And it's like that, is all good and well in theory, but at the end of the day, eventually your soul is going to be really drained in those spaces because it doesn't align with what's possible for you. And so I feel like this is about stepping out of that energy, stepping out of your comfort zone into the uncertainty, and having, like, sometimes we have to be willing to fail. Sometimes we have to be willing to reach dead ends or to, find ourselves in places where and I'm not saying you're going to fail, okay, but like we have to be willing to risk that. We have to be willing to risk the uncertainty. And I think that that's where you're getting yourself tripped up, is you're looking for the certainty before taking steps on the path, but the path is through uncertainty. Everything you desire is on the other side of the fear. Current energy for Leo. Okay, Five of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and Seven of Pentacles. The Devil. So you have an attachment to a certain path or a certain way of... okay. Okay. You're not where you want to be. And that's tricked you into believing you can't get to where you want to go. And that's actually kept you from investing in where you want to go at all, because you're allowing, because one thing that I've learned is that loss and failure are never destinations. They are, however, necessary on the path, because that's where we grow, heal, and evolve. But they're also indication that we're still in the middle of a journey, that we're in the middle of a path. So I don't know if there was some sort of loss, if there was some sort of failure or dead end that was hit. And it almost is like in some way you kind of gave up, not gave up, because that's not, I don't feel like that's really in Leo's blood, but it's like you gave up on a dream or a goal or a path. And, sometimes it's like dreams have to not work out so they can work out in a different way. And it feels like this is about not allowing yourself to give up on what's possible for you. And I think that that's why you have this meditate card, is taking a step back, because if you're believing your failures and your fears and your loss and your lack, you're going to, cognitive bias 101, right? This is psychology. If you are constantly feeding into your mind, it's not possible for me, I can't get there, I'm too old, it's too late for me, I can't have these things aren't possible for me, you are going to see your life through that filter. You're going to see what isn't possible and how you can't get there and how there's no way forward. You're going to see that, and therefore that's going to completely dictate how you show up. And I feel like Spirit is trying to provide you with new opportunities forward, opportunities to the things that you desire, but you're going to miss them if you're seeing your life through the lens of the filter of like, I can't get there, I'm not enough, I can't have it, it's not possible. And I think that that's why you're being asked to step back a little bit through meditation, creating space within your mind that allows you to see things a little bit differently, where instead of looking at all of the ways that it's not possible, that you can't get there, that you're not enough, that you're not good enough, that whatever the case is, you're not talented enough, you're not ready yet, whatever, you start to see yourself or see your life through a different lens, a lens that it is possible, a lens that, you are very supported by the universe, a lens that, you've healed and you've grown from past experiences, and that's what makes you ready for new ones. Like, I feel like you're in this energy of needing to almost like believe in yourself and your dreams and your goals again for some of you. Like maybe there was a time and it didn't work out and now you're being asked to believe in those things again. Maybe for some of you, you have never prioritized your dreams and your goals because you thought, or maybe you wrote it off as, oh, that's silly or that's stupid or I can't, that's not possible or whatever the case is. But I feel like there are certain opportunities that Spirit is trying to bring your way, but you're going to miss them if you're looking through the lens of it isn't possible. So I feel like with that being said, I don't know if I read these: 5 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, Devil, 5 of Swords, King of Wands. Yeah, because whatever the path is, it requires you to have a lot of faith. It requires you to trust greatly. And you're not going to trust, you're not going to have faith. You're not going to show up believing that it's possible. You're not going to have faith if you don't have faith, right? Like, if you have this really incredible opportunity, but you're scared you're going to fail, or you're scared that you're not meant for it, or that it's, whatever, you're probably not even going to give it a try, which in reality is going to create the truth, quote unquote, that you aren't ready, that you're not good enough, because you're only not good enough, you're only not ready if you act from that place. But you also never feel 100% ready. You never feel 100% confident. You kind of just do it. Confidence comes in the journey. Faith is built in the moments of struggle, If you're just waiting for things to change, if you're waiting for things to get better, if you're waiting for things to feel better, it's not going to happen. And I know this from experience. Like, going through really difficult times and periods in my life, there were times where I kind of gave up on my path, or, on my journey altogether. And I waited for the universe to prove to me that, something better was going to come along, or that life was going to improve, and it never happened. And for a long time, I spent a lot of time actually being really angry with the universe about that. But eventually things did improve, but not because I waited for them to improve, because I started to improve them. And then from there, certain opportunities fell into my lap, and then things started to progress from there. It's like, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what this is talking about, but what does Leo need to know moving forward? Luck is on your side. Nothing is yet set in stone. Failure isn't certain. We can say, well, success isn't certain. Neither is failure. Well, getting to where I want to be isn't certain. Well, neither is not getting to where you want to be. Like, there's no certainty. There's no guarantee in any of this life here. There's no 100% certainty about anything. We can see things through the lens of what we've been through, and we can claim that as certainty, and that can become our reality. Or we can go, anything is possible. And I'm going to try to make the things that I want to be possible. And you'll get there. Because the success, the outcome that you desire, it's possible. It's not just possible, but it's guaranteed. You showing up for that opportunity isn't what's guaranteed. But that's where life gets hard, right? Especially when we've been through challenges and failures and loss, we go, well, this is just my life. This is how things are. This is how things will always be. And then that truth becomes our reality. And then we start to see proof of that everywhere, which again brings you back to the cognitive bias. So what does Leo need to know moving forward? Should they choose to show up for this? I don't know what the opportunity is. Three of Cups. The World. Three of Swords in reverse, right? Is that in reverse? Yeah, no, it's definitely in reverse. The Emperor, well, that's beautiful. Oh, but the Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, sorry. Give me one more. The Justice. That makes sense. So it's almost like there are places, like this is what I'm seeing with the Three of Cups. There are places and spaces that not just where you belong, but that are like meant for you, that you are here to experience, relationships that you're here to experience, success that you're here to experience, like rooms that were built for you. And all of these things have been waiting for you, been waiting for you to believe that they exist. But you've been trapped in this cycle of less, not going after the things that you want, not putting yourself out there, not taking risks, which we all do, okay? Survival is very real. Sometimes we feel like we have to just do what it takes to get by. But we only feel that survival is necessary when that's what we believe. And that's the kicker, right? It's kind of a catch-22. When we realize we're not just here to survive, you're not just here to work and pay bills and live for the weekend, okay? There's so much more that's possible for you. But if you believe in that, because like that's what Spirit is saying. That's why nothing is yet set in stone. Is it's like these things exist. They're here for you. They're possible. They are a very real experience that you can have. But this Emperor, this is you stepping into your power and taking control of your life by showing up for them. And this Eight of Wands in reverse, though, and that's why I said, oh, the Emperor, it's beautiful energy, but it's like the Eight of Wands in reverse is like, but you might not. It's like, well, I'm not saying that, because I do feel like the collective that I'm speaking to will, but it's like, it's up to you. It's up to you to create these things. It's up to you to put yourself out there, to take risks, to start the business, to do the thing that you've been dreaming of, to finally move across the country, if that's what you've been feeling called to do for so long. It's like, a lot of times we fear change, but one of the scariest things in life is actually staying in a life that we don't love, staying in situations that we don't love, staying in relationships that make us feel bad. That's actually scary. Change can feel scary, but it's also very promising. There's so much that exists there. And I feel like with this Three of Swords in reverse, there's a lot that you have to work through, right? Like, it's not you take the step and then all of a sudden everything just falls into place perfectly. No, you face the fear, you face the limiting beliefs, you face the doubt. You face that uncertainty. So we either are choosing to show up to face uncertainty or we're choosing to not. And if we don't, we're going to repeat the same patterns. We're going to be in the same spaces, in the same situations. One of my favorite quotes that I've really kind of hit home for me for a long time on my journey was that the only person that's going to come along and improve your life and make it better is you. The only person that's going to come save you is you. And it took me a long time to realize that that was true, because I waited for people to save me. I waited for somebody to finally see my worth, for somebody to finally take a chance on me, for someone to finally realize that I was lovable and worthy and deserving. And the more that I waited for the world to see that, the more that I felt not. But when I finally decided that I was lovable, worthy, deserving, capable, which doesn't always feel like that, but I try my best to show up in that energy, things started to happen. Life started to meet me there. The universe is unbiased. It just responds to your energy. And if you're showing up with the energy that says, I'm afraid, I can't get there, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, I can't do this, the universe is going to go, okay, if that's what you believe. But if you show up with the energy that says, I'm afraid, but I'm choosing to do it anyway, I'm choosing to take steps, I'm choosing to believe, I'm choosing to, trust my worth, trust my capabilities, trust my deservingness, the universe goes, okay. It provides you with opportunities that align with that. So it's almost like an energy of like sleepwalking, even like, and maybe not intentionally, but like sleepwalking and waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the thing. You are the opportunity. You are the path forward. You and how you choose to show up. And I feel like there are opportunities that close out major cycles of struggle and survival and allow you to tap into this good fortune, because abundance is a state of existence. And when you're able to tap into that abundance, as an energetic form, the outward abundance just kind of flows to you. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's like once you can pass through, because your purest form is abundance. You are abundance. You are love. Those things are attracted to you naturally, but you have fear and limiting beliefs and traumas and things that push those things away. So working through those things allows you to come back to your natural state and attract those things into your life. That's why opportunities flow to people who show up for them. So this is interesting. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do, what did I just say? I said the deeper purpose of this. That's not usually what I say. It's like what you can do right now is usually what I focus on. But maybe we're going to focus on the deeper purpose of what's going on. Okay, anyway, thank you guys so much. And I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Leo.